All right. Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash for the spirit to do this lesson. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom to the men of the Lord, prophesying, preaching, and teaching on the highways and byways in sincerity and in truth. Shalom Barakatham. And I wanted to go in real quick on this lesson. You see the title of the article here. This is on RT. It says Russia-China joint military exercise was complete success and demonstrated two nations' unbreakable bond. Beijing defense head. So China is boasting in the relationship, military-wise, at least, and with Russia. All right. Now we know that China and Russia are going to play major roles in the end of this thing, and that these other nations, they would be in cahoots, and they would eventually turn on America, which they've already turned against America. You know, it's just that neither one of them have struck the first blow of war yet, but we all know that it's coming through proxy wars, primarily through the Middle East. We know that in the Middle East you have Syria, which is backed by Russia and China. All right, you have Iran, which is also backed by Russia and China. And you have Iraq, which is a shit show now that the American government overthrew. All right, the Saudis and Saudi Arabia are in cahoots with America, and Israel is over there, is in cahoots with America. And those are basically the major players in the Middle East. All right, and you got Turkey and stuff over there too, but we all know that they're going to side with Russia when it comes down to it, because they are already buying military equipment from Russia. You know, so through all of these Middle Eastern nations, you know, in the Levant area, you know, there's going to be that third world war, but the major powers are going to come from outside of that. It's going to be China, it's going to be Russia, it's going to be the rest of Europe. All right. You know, Brazil, these other nations, India, they're all going to be against this beast system. All right. And that's written. It says Russia's joint military exercise with China, the first time servicemen from both nations have participated together on operational and strategic drills, was a complete success and demonstrated a high level of cooperation. Why is that important? Because why are nations practicing together? Because they have a common enemy. All right. They're going to come together and take down this devil. All right. It says that according to Chinese Defense Minister Wei Fang, who spoke on Friday following a week of war games. These drills have great significance, Wei said. These are the first joint drills organized in China since the outbreak of the epidemic. And these are the first ever Chinese operational and strategic maneuvers with the participation of Russian troops. All right. And you can see video of it, man. They're not playing, man. Ground troops. Look at that, man. Firing heavy artillery right there. So, hey, they're getting ready, man. All right. And this, you have to know that these things will happen, man. Why? Because we're seeing chariots. All right. We're seeing this guy starting to advertise the MOTB. Okay. And you're starting to see all of these abominable acts, alternative sexual lifestyles, I should say, are at an all-time high. Children are under attack. All right. The money system's crumbling. The food is defiled. People are having unrest all over the world. They're rioting in Europe, which I have to do a lesson on that, Lord willing. You know, all of the signs Yahweh Shai said. You know, when you read Matthew 24 and some other books over in the New Testament, Luke. You know, you can read Second Ezra as well too. All of these things, man. You know, they're all coming to pass. All right. It says this is Ezekiel 23. Now, this is an example, right, of what's basically getting ready to happen to America. All right. You know, through the Spirit. You know, a lot of these things are written. You see things happening to other nations or even to Israel. right? This is an example of two people, I believe, from Israel. But we see these examples happening to us, but really it's a cut to Esau, because the men of the Lord will see these prophecies and we will recognize these same things that's going to happen to Esau, Edom, and there are other prophecies that line up with that as well too. This is Ezekiel 23 and 23. It says the Babylonians and all the Chaldeans, Pekod and Shoa and Koa, and all the Assyrians with them, all of them desirable young men. All right, and today the modern day Babylonians are in Iraq, right? Which a lot of them are Arabs now, but you still have Babylonians there. Those are the Chaldeans. What did America do to them? They completely overthrew that country, okay, and turned it into a wasteland, basically. And then you have the Assyrians, right, which is modern day Syria. That's the remnant of them. What's happening there? America's trying to overthrow them. They've accused them of these chemical weapons and any excuse to go in there and try to invade the country to get their oil pipeline through there, and to have an expansion of Israel, basically. You know, that's what they're over there for. All right. It says, all of them young men, captains and rulers, great lords and renowned, all of them riding upon horses, and they shall come against thee with chariots, wagons, and wheels, and with an assembly of people, which shall set against thee buckler and shield and helmet round about, and I will set judgment before them, and they shall judge thee according to their judgments. And what example do you see here, man? China's bragging about this as being at an all-time at their relationship is at an all-time high, you know. It says they have an unbreakable bond. All right, what does that mean for America? That means destruction. All right, when you read Ezekiel the 38th chapter, all right, that's quite clear. There's Ezekiel 38 and 3. It says, and I say, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. And earlier it says, set thy face against Gog in the land of Magog. So this is talking about Russia, you know, and the area of Turkey and all of that. Verse 4, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company of bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. That's very similar to the account we just read in Ezekiel 23, although that was talking about a former time. You know, it's symbolic in what's getting ready to happen now. It says, verse 5, Persia, that's Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya. You overthrew Libya too. All right. Y'all were bombing Somalia earlier this year. All right. Which is part of the Ethiopian diatribe, you know. All of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands. The house of Togarmah in the north quarters and all his bands. And that area goes over to like north of Greece into like basically the Balkanized area, the Balkans, basically, you know, places like Montenegro, Croatia, Slovenia, right above Greece, Macedonia, you know, that area, you know, all the way over to Turkey. It says, in all his bands and many people with thee, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. After many days thou shalt be visited, in the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, all right, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. All right. So This thing is getting ready to happen, you know. And I pray that this shit pops off today. All right, today. I was lit and excited earlier in the week, man. We saw them pushing that MOTB. The Pentagon basically developed it. The DARPA, the Defense Department, and up in the Defense Department, which DARPA means Defense Advanced Research Projects, something. And they're known for creating very advanced weapons. All right, and it's no secret they developed this MOTB RFID device. I'll just say that because that's a weapon, and if you take it, you're gonna die. Let's see. Obadiah 1:7, which is one of the main ones. It says, "All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border." All right, and that includes those nations that you're in cahoots with, not just Europe, but Israel. All right, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia doesn't have any loyalty to you, man. Neither do these other European nations. Okay. It says, "All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border," because your troops are all the way over there, man. Your troops are in Germany, all throughout the Middle East, and the Persian Gulf. All right, in Saudi Arabia, in Iraq. It says, "The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee." All right, "They that eat thy bread." All right, and the Saudi Arabians, they've eaten your bread because y'all are buying all the oil from Saudi Arabia. Most of the oil that's been put out in production is coming from Saudi. All right, and they're getting paid hand and fist. You see some of those Saudi princes, man. They riding around in solid gold Lamborghinis, man. They're balling. They're flying Keisha out there to pee on her and take a dump in her mouth, They flying out to Dubai, all these other areas, paying Keisha, 30 bands to fly out there to do some wickedness, That all that money came from you, Esau. It says, "They eat thy bread, they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee, there is none understanding in him." All right. And you can read the rest. This whole chapter of Obadiah is really good, but you brothers get the point. What next? Last precept I'll get, and I'll shut it down on that because y'all brothers get the point. Jeremiah 4:30, it says, "And when thou art spoiled, what wilt thou do? Though thou clothest thyself with crimson." So we know who that is. All right. What does crimson mean? Red. All right. Crimson goes back to the word crime. All right. Because red was considered synonymous with crime. Blood. All right. It says, "Though thou clothest thyself with crimson, though thou deckest thee with ornaments of gold." All right. Now, who does that remind you of? The whore of Babylon. All right. She's riding the red beast, the red dragon. She's decked out. She's wearing a purple garment with all types of gold and ornaments on her. It says, "Though thou rent thy face with painting," it says, "in vain shalt thou make thyself fair." All right. And that's what America does. It's putting lipstick on a pig. They tell you all of these sweet things that make you think that, this is going to be the greatest country ever. And all you got to do is just work hard and you'll make it here. And it was all bullshit. There's no democracy. There's no voting. The whole thing is rigged. It's basically ruled by Esau at the very tippy top. All right. And ultimately, when you really try to exercise your rights, you find out that you have none. All right. This whole thing is an illusion, a giant spell of witchcraft. All right. It says, though thou runtest thy face with painting, in vain shalt thou make thyself fair. Thy lovers will despise thee, because they're going to find out all this shit is witchcraft. And they basically have already found out. The scriptures say they'll make Esau bare. And everybody's going to despise you. And they do. And this thing is coming close, man. It's close. It's coming soon. It says, thy lovers will despise thee. They will seek thy life. All right. So all of these nations you tried to form these military bonds with, it's not going to work, because China and Russia are the brunt of their military might. And when it comes down to it, they're going to side with that side of military might. And it's going to be a giant war, and Yahweh Shai is going to return. In that moment, chariots are going to show up, and y'all are going to be overthrown, man. And the kingdom will be finally established, finally, So with that, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully, your brothers were edified. Call for law Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rachak Wadash Wa Abba Babal Shalom.